Hello, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about these 6 qualities that you're going to want to look for in an attorney. Now, there's going to be some skeptics out there, just naturally, because I am an attorney. So these are things that you're going to think, well, of course he's going to say that because he's an attorney. But I don't want you to think about it in the paradigm of what I want, but what you want. Okay, what an outsider looking in would say are important qualities to have. Now, if you're new here, I hope that that you'll watch some of my other videos, but know that I'm ultimately here to help you, my potential client, or even just the viewers of these YouTube videos. I find joy in helping others. I find joy in seeing my clients get good results. As I said, if you're new here, my name is Taylor Darcy from Think Legal, where I help you create the business of your dreams. I'm happy you're here. Please stick around, ask questions, show up. We go live Monday through Friday, except for holidays at 11 a.m. Generally speaking, don't deviate from that. However, things do occur, and I do my best to try to reschedule so that I make sure that you're getting the content that you need and the things that you need to help your business. So let's get started. All right. So these are all the top things that you need to think about when you're hiring an attorney. However, they're not conclusive. Like, they're not all inclusive. Like, there's many other things. These are just the important, like, top 6. There are other things that you want to consider, and we'll talk a little bit about those, but I just want you to know that this is not exhaustive. I'm not listing everything you need to know about hiring an attorney or everything that you need to know about finding that right attorney, because in the end, there are things that are more important than, not more important than these things, but things that you can't put a label on, okay? Like, just the general feeling of that attorney, right? You can't put a feeling, I can't tell you how to feel around a particular attorney over another, okay? Different attorneys are going to make you feel a different way, and some are going to make you feel great, and some are going to make you feel like not so great. But you've got to keep in mind that if just because one attorney is not a good fit for you, that another attorney won't be. Don't give up just because you interview one and find out that's not the right one for you. Because just like any type of relationship, not everybody is right for everybody, right? I mean, like, if you've been alive for any period of time, you know that there are some people you get along with better than others. And the same is true in legal counsel. You are going to have a better experience if you are looking for someone who has a good personality fit for you than if you, even if they are perfect in all of these things, but they don't just fit, right? They don't feel good to you. So I want you to think about that as we're discussing these things, because these don't override that gut feeling that you get when you talk to an attorney, because otherwise what happens is that if you're looking for a rigid set of checklists, then this is like the beginning. But if you're looking for that rigid set of checklists, you're going to be disappointed, because nobody, and I repeat, nobody is ever going to fit that checklist perfectly. Some are going to fit better than others. That's just how it works. Just like some relationships fit better than others. It's not that it's a bad person or a bad relationship. It just means that you two didn't work out. And a lot is true for litigation, if you're involved in that, or any type of matter. Personality makes a difference. So I want you to think about those things. So number 1, empathy. Do they understand what you're going through? And I know that you might think, well, how could they? They've never done this before. But they might not be empathetic in this situation because they haven't broken an arm or had a breach of contract, or that they're confused by all the stuff out there on Google, right? I'm not talking about that type of empathy. I'm talking about the type of empathy that says, I understand that this is a stressful situation. I understand that it's scary, that it's something that you've never wanted to deal with, especially in those litigation instances. But the end is they understand it and they treat you like they understand it. They don't dismiss you. They don't think that your feelings aren't valid. You want someone that has that compassion to see you for who you are and the problem that you face. And that's why I listed it as my number one. Now, these aren't in any particular order. These are in an order that just made sense to me. But I think if you miss out on the compassion factor, you're going to be disappointed with your legal counsel. Not because they are bad legal counsel, but because they're not that fit. They're not the person that fits best with you. Okay. A lot of my clients, I view them as friends more than I view them as clients. I talk to them about my life. I let them know things that are happening in my life. I don't get too personal because it's important to have a professional relationship. We don't talk for hours on end about things outside of law, but I talk to them as people, not just as clients, because at the end, their hearts, who they are, who the problems that they face matter, and they matter to me. So that's number one, empathy. Number two, communication. How do they communicate with you? Are they talking down to you? Are they condescending? Are they rude? Do they try to talk over your head to make them sound smarter than they are? Are they speaking your language? Do they try to communicate in a way that you'll understand? And not because you can't understand other things, but because you haven't been to law school. You haven't dealt with these same problems over and over again. They have. Do they respond to your communications? Do they have a strategy set up? Do they respond to your emails? How quickly? What's their turnaround time period? What is their communication policy? Do you have to schedule an appointment? Or can you call whenever you want? These are all important parts of having a good relationship with your attorney. Keep in mind, you're probably not their only client. I know it's your life. I totally get that. But, if we have 50 cases at any given time and you're one of those 50, if every person called every day and didn't wait for a phone call back or didn't schedule a phone call if that's what the attorney wants, then how would they get any work done? How would they get any case stuff done? Right? Or whatever it is, the matter that you're working with. So you really want to be understanding of their communicative practices. Now, if it goes weeks, if there's nothing to hear for weeks, sometimes that happens. I have a case right now that I'm working on. We did something at the beginning of May, and it's been weeks. I haven't heard from opposing counsel. I've talked with my client, but it doesn't need to be a constant communication, especially if there's nothing to update. Like literally. I have nothing to say to this client, not because there's nothing going on, not because I don't want to talk to them. So you got to keep that in mind as well. Sometimes they're going to be talking to you a lot, and sometimes it'll be just very little. So be cognizant of those things. Be understanding when they may not get back to you as quickly because maybe they don't have a reason to get back to you, or they have a ton of things on their plate, and it just, at that moment, you're not the priority. And it isn't anything personal because eventually you will be the priority, right? Like some weeks, I've got one client that I literally am on the phone every day with, and then I don't talk to them for a long time. That's just how it is. But then other weeks, I literally will be talking on the phone for, several hours with them. So it really depends on the matter and depends on the situation. So be understanding of that, but know what their communication policies are. I try to be as responsive as possible, just simply because I understand what it's like to be going through a stressful time period and not have that communication when you really need it the most. So that's number 2. The number 3 is knowledge of the law. I mean, this sounds kind of like, well, duh, of course, but not every attorney has done every area of law. Your best bet is to find somebody who has a similar case load as you have. It doesn't have to be identical because there are certain areas that are crossovers. You don't have to know everything about every area of law to practice law. But like, for instance, I do business law. I do breaches of contract. I do these types of things. Other people don't. And so, and the reason why I bring this up is because don't try to find a business attorney if you need a criminal defense attorney. Okay. I mean, just very simple. I know that sounds like, well, duh, but you want to make sure that their knowledge of the law is relative, because procedurally, that's easy to figure out. We have rules, there's court rules, there's civil procedure rules. We can find those things out. Procedurally, it's very easy for us. But if they don't have the knowledge of the law, that's a bigger issue. So, for instance, I specialize in business contracts, securities, litigation, these types of matters. So, like, for instance, I don't handle personal injury. So if there's a personal injury matter, I find you a referral. And the same should be for any type of an attorney. So don't feel like you don't have a case. Okay. Please hear me on this one. Just because they give you a referral to somebody else. Okay. It is not a comment on the merits of your case. It is a comment on the attorney's ability to take that case. Okay. So that's number 3. The next one is really important. And I know this is, I've just listed 3 that were very important too. But this is one of those ones that can make a case either go on for years or settle or do better quicker. And that's good judgment. Is this a bulldog attorney who is going to pound the other party into submission and is going to cost you a ton of money? Or are they more on the, okay, it doesn't make sense to fight anymore over this matter because you're just spending money on my attorney's fees, okay? Or whatever it is. So you want to have someone that has that good judgment, the negotiation ability to sit down and discuss honestly with opposing counsel, opposing party, and to be able to talk to you when it's important that those things are issues, right? And so, a good attorney is going to find a resolution that is, it might not be perfect. You might not get exactly everything you want. Just reality says that that's true. But if it's a reasonable settlement, maybe it's better to take it than to continue to fight. If it's a crap settlement, that's a different matter. And I have those cases too. So good judgment is very important when you're looking. Now, how can you find out about these things? Talk to them. Talk to the attorney about cases that they've settled in the past. What's their goal? Are they, bulldog attorneys, or are they, the great deal makers? And everybody's different. I'm just in the adage of do what's best for the client. Now, that being said, your decision to take a settlement or not take a settlement is the end all be all, right? You decide that, not the attorney. The attorney can advise, give you its professional experience based on on his or her knowledge. But at the end of the day, your decision to take or reject a settlement, it's up to you. So keep that in mind, as it's not about the attorney's goal in that respect. Okay. It's about your happiness and your decision to take or accept that settlement. But keep in mind, if an attorney recommends something, although you don't have to take it, keep in mind that based on their experience and education, it's not necessarily likely that you're going to have a great outcome. Not saying you won't. I mean, because there's always surprises. There's cases that shouldn't settle that do. There's cases that should settle that don't. I don't want to say it's a crapshoot, because it's not. I'm not suggesting that it's completely random. But I am suggesting that sometimes things don't work out the way the attorney thinks it will. But other times it works out worse. And so what I'm saying is that it's not that you can't hold your attorney, but that the issue is that 80% of cases fall underneath the normal this or that. Okay. Then there's those outliers that fall that, should settle when they don't, and vice versa that I just talked about. So I want you to think about those things, is that a good judgment attorney that has good judgment is going to know the general parts of it, but maybe it's going to turn out differently than that. And you have to be prepared for that difference. Uh, Number 5, and I know this is going to sound funny, but creativity. Is your attorney creative? What do I mean? So if you have a matter that could be resolved in a different way to the benefit of both parties, can they think, and I hate this term, but can they think outside the box and give you a solution that could be a win for everybody? Are they willing to put down their swords instead of trying to draw blood legally? Can they find a way to resolve something peacefully, save you money or save you time, get the outcome or a good outcome? Maybe it's not a perfect outcome, but maybe get you a good outcome if to work through this, right? And so creativity goes to thinking about problems in a with different solutions other than legal solutions. Because although those are important, although solving legal problems are important, and that's what we do as attorneys, we solve legal problems, sometimes the answer isn't always a legal answer. We can find ways to solve problems that are business related. For me, there's lots of solutions. So if your attorney's trying to solve your problem, creativity, then you're going to see different results than someone that just tries to hammer the other party into submission. Okay. Number 6, and this is again last not least, and certainly not exhaustive. Listening. I know this sounds funny, but does the attorney listen to you when you have a concern? When there's something that you are struggling with that is important to you, how do they respond to that? Do they talk over you? Do they ignore you? Do they dismiss you? I don't know, but you can tell when someone's listening to you, right? So you want to have that attorney that is going to pay attention and listen to what you have to say. And this kind of fits in that empathy category, but it's more than that. Is that let the attorney listen, and then you see what they respond with. Okay. And you can get a good feeling for this when you meet with them for your initial consultation, or like, for instance, doing a discovery call. Like I do discovery calls. I don't do consultations. And the reason why is because I want to see if we're a good fit to begin with, not do the consultation. And I'm not going to get into the weeds on that one. But point is that do they listen to you? And again, you can tell this. You're going to get a good feeling for it in a very brief period of time when you're doing their, like I said, consultation or discovery call. So this is the top list of things that I wanted to put out to the world to let you think about and help you to understand that, hiring an attorney doesn't have to be as stressful or painful as what the movies make it out to be or what it needs to be. If you if you look for these qualities in your attorney, you're going to find that you're going to have a better result, because you're going to feel like that the attorney has your best interests at heart, truly, not just because of the rules that we have. But I mean, like, you can tell by their actions that they're doing what's best for you and that you feel validated as a person. And all of these things are important to you. Okay. This is all about you, not about the attorney. If it doesn't work for you, find a different attorney. That's just the best thing I can tell you. If you've gotten value out of this video, don't forget to hit subscribe and like, and know that I go live every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. We'll talk to you later. Have a good one.